So I just got the email that I have been waiting anxiously for and annoying everyone with, sorry everyone, for weeks. My AMD Ryzen motherboard and processor just arrived at my front door. Now, as long as they haven't been stolen in the 30 minutes since I got this email, I'm gonna have a new computer. Well, they're both there. That's a good sign. Danica, you're fine. Well, here is the tower and most of the other components I will be making it with. Now, I just need to switch cameras here. There we go. So the processor of my new build is the AMD Ryzen 1700X. It's an 8-core, 16-thread, 3.4 GHz processor. Now I was lucky enough to pre-order this the millisecond it came out. It was the Asus Crosshair 6 Hero Republic of Gamers motherboard. This thing is nothing short of beautiful. Even the second you open the box, you're looking at their logo and a clear case looking into this simply fantastic motherboard. Now obviously it comes with native support for the new AM4 socket, PCI 3.0 and DDR4, which is a first for AMD motherboards. The I/O for this thing was super impressive. It has 8 3.0 ports, 4 2.0. It even has a USB 3.1 and 3.1C there by the gigabit LAN port. The Supreme FX audio processor is amazing. It has great digital to analog conversion, high impedance for both headphones and speakers. By the time you're watching this video, I'm actually recording it on this motherboard and it sounds fantastic. Finally, there are 8 SATA ports, 4 slots for DDR4 RAM, and your 2 PCI 3.0 slots that are reinforced, which I love. Since this is far from the first Crosshair unboxing, I'm going to skip through all the other junk you get with it. It's all good stuff. Thank you, Asus, but moving on. So, some things happened. Ryzen came out the 6th. It's the 24th. Essentially, once I got everything put together and booted my hard drive, it worked. But only the first time. The Intel solid state that I had for my old build, only a year and a half old, didn't boot every other time. Most likely an issue with the BIOS, but thinking it was a hard drive, I ordered a Samsung NVMe M.2 solid state. But the next day, I tried booting and nothing happened. Essentially, the BIOS that my motherboard shipped with was notorious for bricking the motherboard. A lot of people had this issue. Some of them were able to fix it with a BIOS update to several ones that were on their website. I just flashed it to the default one the first time I had this issue, but eventually it bricked my motherboard, which means it would not boot. It wouldn't even hit the BIOS. It wouldn't even draw power from the power supply. So I went through the whole painstaking process of filing an RMA, being without my Ryzen setup for another like 2 weeks. But finally, I got the replacement motherboard. Thank you. You're welcome. Finally. We now return to our regularly scheduled program. So take a quick gander inside my original case. I kind of said screw it to cable management after adding a few things, and it doesn't look that pretty, but it was getting the job done for a while. So as I take apart my atrocious cable management of a computer, we get my 7850 graphics card. I'm going to keep using this until the RX 500 series or Vega. Not sure which one I want. I was using a single radiator Antec water cooler, which got me some pretty decent overclocking, but since I updated Windows 10, this motherboard did not run any of its default overclocking software, so it was really just running at stock speeds. Look at all that dust. It's beautiful. Part of the reason this build was so ugly is because of all these other expansion cards I had, USB 3.0 and a USB 2.0. I'm going to be transferring these back to my old case, which I won't have to look at as often. Ah. Of course I missed one. There she is. My old motherboard. So old that it advertised, hey, I have USB 3.0. That's new. And it said, hey, I'm Windows 7 ready. Windows 7 is new. So the new water cooler I got, well, Corsair H100i V2. This guy is a dual 120mm fan radiator. Water cooler, all self-contained, easy to manage. Why? Just why? I knew this is how it was. I did my research, but like when I actually see it and see that I have to swap out the back plate, it just makes me ask, why? Solid state, FireCuda, working hard drive, backup hard drive, hot swap bay, DVD drive, and eSATA port, which I'll probably never use. Oh my god. Windows. I hate you. Now this was the terrifying part. Rebuilding it again to see if it would fail. I did what ASUS recommended, which is flashing their most stable BIOS that's on their website with only the main motherboard power connected. I just hoped it wouldn't fail. And it didn't. It's working. I'm continuing to edit it on this setup. Let's take a look. So during the process of waiting for my new motherboard, I ordered a LED light strip, which you can see is cycling through its amazing colors. Got an additional dust shield for this fan, which is blowing air directly into the chassis so it can be sucked up by the Corsair H100. That then blows into the dual 240mm fans that are really quite quiet, getting all of the hot air directly out of the chassis. Still sporting the 7850 by Power Color here until I get a newer graphics card. 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, 256 gig M.2 solid state. And apart from very few cables that I haven't managed to find a good spot for, hell of a lot better cable management than I had before. In here I have 1, 2, 3 other spinning drives, one of them being a Seagate FireCuda for gaming and another just a generic Terabyte 7200 for video editing. So yes, unfortunately it looks like AMD slightly rushed Ryzen to market. It's a good thing they did. Intel needed to get kicked off their high horse, and I'm loving my Ryzen. I'm not going to rag on ASUS or AMD too much, but their BIOS seems to be stable now. I have the replacement motherboard. It's all good. Sorry this video took so long to get out. This is why it's been taking me so long to get content out. I've been wanting to do it all month, but been without a computer. So that concludes my PC build vlog number 1. Next time we're going to look at some benchmarks and do some gameplay. That should be fun. Until next time, bye.